So we're back with our tent comparison series, looking for the perfect summer tent, and we're going to look today at the Big Agnes Copper Spur HVLUL2 versus the NEMO Dragonfly 2. These are both two-person, three-season double-wall tents, and they are both lightweight backpacking style tents. So starting with the Big Agnes, the Copper Spur, it's a completely freestanding tent, and this is how it looks another perspective. What I really like about this tent is the fact that you can convert the vestibule into awnings. I think it's a really cool feature, and it kind of creates this extra space for hanging out that you would normally have. And so this is also the Neiman Dragonfly too. This is also a freestanding tent. So what's great in terms of both of these being freestanding tents is freestanding tents tend to be more weather resistant, better in windy situations. They have more structural integrity. So starting, and this is also a view of the Neiman Dragonfly. So we're going to look at internal space, trail weight, fabric, vestibule area, doors, poles, ventilation, and price. So starting with space. So these are these are basically identical in terms of space. However, and this is an interesting point. So the Dragonfly technically has a little bit more headroom than the Copper Spur. That said, because this tent tapers at the foot, it's it's actually going to feel like you have less internal space because it has 3.4 feet at its highest point, but as it tapers down, you get less and less height. So the Copper Spur, I think, it would actually feel bigger on the inside. This is the way the Copper Spur looks. I think this tent has there's a lot to love about it. It looks like it's just nicely ventilated. These doors are huge. I like the door tie backs. There's also a lot of storage inside the tent. So it looks like a nice airy tent. And considering when we get to the trail weight, this tent gives you a lot for a very lightweight tent. And this is the Dragonfly. Also a good amount of space inside the tent, but once again, the tent is going to feel a bit smaller inside of it because of the fact that it tapers down towards the foot. So these are lightweight tents, so they're both a little over 2 pounds. They're almost identical in weight, and they compress down into these nice little stuffed sacks, which are about the size of a water bottle, so they're easy to carry. So getting into fabric. So the Big Agnes Copper Spur has, your traditional nylon floor and rainfly with a polyester mesh canopy, um, you know, coated with silicone to be waterproof. So all pretty standard. The Nemo Dragonfly, this is made with Nemo's proprietary Osmo fabric, which is a composite of polyester and nylon, and it's basically constructed to be 4 times more water resistant, and also has 3 times less sag when wet than your standard tent fabric, according to NEMO. It's also free of these forever chemicals, PFAS chemicals, which is nice. So this is a close-up of the NEMO tent fabric, just to get a visual. So next, getting over to doors and vestibule. So these both have 2 doors, and their vestibules are, again, almost identical in terms of size. The Nemo Dragonfly is a little bit larger. So this is the Big Agnes, and once again, I really love this vestibule feature, being able to convert into awnings. And then this is the Nemo Dragonfly. So moving on to poles. So they both have the same DAC Featherlight NSL poles, which are pretty industry standard. The Big Agnes is a little bit thicker than the Nemo, but only slightly. And they're both pre-bent poles. So this is a visual of the Big Agnes Copper Spur pole, and then a visual of the the Nemo Dragonfly pole. In terms of ventilation, so the Big Agnes has a bit of an edge on ventilation because they have vents both both on the vestibule door, and they also have a high fly vent and a rainfly, whereas the Dragonfly just has a high fly vent and the rainfly. So this is how the vent looks on the Big Agnes Copper Spur, and then this is how the vent looks on the NEMO Dragonfly. And this is in the rainfly itself on both of these tents. So here, price, these tents are definitely more on the expensive side, which is, the way it usually goes with really lightweight, well-made backpacking tents. The Big Agnes is relatively expensive when you consider it's almost 50 bucks more than the Nemo Dragonfly. So, how do these compare? Really similar. I would say that, you know, I think you're going to get a bit better ventilation from what I see in the the Big Agnes Copper Spur. Um, the the pole will be a little bit stronger because it's slightly thicker. And the vestibule awning feature is pretty cool. Um, the Nemo Dragonfly is a little bit lighter, and you technically do have more interior volume, although it might not feel that way because of the tapered foot. So we took a look at some customer reviews of both of these, and they're both really highly rated. Outdoor Gear Lab rates the Big Agnes Copper Spur like number 2 out of 13 backpack tents that they tested. And Amazon customers give the Big Agnes Copper Spur 4.7 out of 5 stars. Um, so for the Nemo Dragonfly Outdoor Gear Lab, this is actually one of their favorite tents, the Nemo Dragonfly. They gave it an Editor's Choice Award, and Amazon gave it a little bit lower than the Big Agnes, but still 4.6 out of 5 stars. So, both of these are solid tents, and they will serve you well in the summer for all your backpacking adventures. Thanks for watching, and tent links are in the description.